Have you noticed your child falling behind in the classroom or struggling to get through homework assignments? It could be due to a weakness in his or her cognitive learning skills. Here to help is David O'Reilly, the Executive Director of LearningRx. Welcome back, David.
Thanks, Audrey.
So, of course, at this time of year, student and parent-teacher conferences are all underway. And how often are you surprised, or the parents are surprised to learn that their students are struggling in the classroom?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes at this time of the year, I mean, they get surprised if they hadn't already known that they are struggling with certain areas, reading or math or different things like that. But yeah, I mean, they get surprised, or maybe they hear that they are behind, or maybe the assessments are showing that there are some weaker areas.
Yeah, and the key is to identify what they're struggling in.
Yes.
So where do you start?
Yeah, so what we look at, and I think it was mentioned too, that we aren't looking at the academic piece, but the things that we want to ask are, are they not recalling information, or are they not able to solve problems well, or they're struggling with reading. So if they, and also too, are they just taking longer with their work or feeling frustrated with that? But what we do is we want to look at those cognitive skill areas. We do an assessment that looks at things, and we want parents to start asking these questions of why are they struggling. And that's what this assessment will show. We look at memory, processing speed, logic and reasoning, which is like problem solving or critical thinking or even comprehension. And then I mentioned auditory processing, which is that #1 skill for reading. But we get a baseline look at these skills, and those let us know where there might be weaker areas or why they're struggling with certain things in school.
So where do you start then in the assessment?
Yeah, so we start with the assessment, and we get a baseline with that, and the next part is then going to taking a consultation with the parents and go over those results and just kind of look at that, and then provide like a recommended training plan or training program for them. And the results that we get from it are just amazing. So that's the neat thing, is that we have this assessment that takes less than an hour, that we can get that baseline and get a good reading, but then also we have that solution to improve these areas.
And all of your training then is personalized, one-on-one for each student.
Yeah.
And you determine that through the assessment, or?
Yeah. Well, the assessment gives us that, and then what that does is allow us, we match them up with a trainer, and we get in the training. So with that program, if the parent says, yes, let's get moving on this. And because what we see is that with improved memory, with improved skills, our performance should be, or our output should be much better, whether it's in school or the class, or at work too. We work with kids and adults, but it's really about that performance and raising the skill. So that step is working one-on-one with a trainer, and actually, personalize, individualize, doing multiple exercises to improve those cognitive skill areas. And that's what it's about. It's a training program, very personalized and customized to that student. So. And
what activities do you use in the training for the students?
So we have this great demo board here. So there's things that target, they're fun exercises. This is where it's a non-academic, so it's a training program. It's like going to the gym and working out on the weights, or you have different exercises to target different areas of the brain. So like I'll give you an example. Like we just had President's Day, and so one of the skills that we work on is called visualization. And so it's being able to create mental images in our mind, or be able to recall information. An area where this is helpful is possibly like in the classroom, and maybe the teacher puts something up on the board, and all of a sudden they change to the next slide or something like that. And so you're trying to picture what was on there. So if you're able to visually, create images and see that information there without actually seeing it, you're able to recall it and get it into memory. So that's one thing that we work on. So this is one here. So we had President's Day. So do you believe me that these are the presidents?
These pictures?
Yes, these pictures are. So
no.
Yes, they are. So here we are. So it's called visualization list. So this is a man watching a ton. So, or he's watching tons. So that's Washington.
Okay.
Okay. And then these are all interconnected. This next picture here, what do you notice about this lady and her head? Have you seen that symbol before?
Yeah, like a
science space type thing.
Yeah.
So it's for atoms.
Okay.
So our second president is atoms. All right. And so this lady here, she's patting the head of this little guy here that is a chef. Okay, and that chef is her son. So chef, her son is Jefferson.
Jefferson, yeah.
Jefferson, okay. So, all right, what were those first three there? Do you remember?
Washington, Adams,
and Jefferson. Yeah. So what do you think this one is here? He's grilling.
With the son?
The son. Does he look happy or mad?
Mad.
Mad. So he's Madison. Okay. So actually they get through, and so what we do is we take it back and we drill them on that, and without seeing it, and so they do it within a time. So in that we're working on visualization, we're working on memory, and we're working on processing speed. So we do multiple exercises. Just fun. We kind of keep it. We talk about intensity and flow, so that we are actually working and engaging the brain for typically an hour to an hour and a half, multiple times per week. So it's like an intense training period to really drive. This is the science part about it. It's about developing those neural pathways.
Yeah.
And it's about, that's why it's called brain training. It's developing the neural pathways and just the brain's ability to continue to grow and develop.
It's so interesting, David. And to get started, you do have a fantastic starter training package offer for our viewers.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we're really encouraging everybody almost on an annual basis to get an assessment, a cognitive skill assessment, whether kids and adults, to kind of see where our skills are. So if you do that assessment, it's $150, plus we're actually throwing in, we've got a book and research result report for that. But also too, you got a starter pack, which you could also do for $299, which includes the assessment, consultation, and also 6 hours of training to really see what it's about. And one thing that we always encourage people to is if one of those things, or if you just have questions and you weren't ready to take that step, just give us a call, and we'll, we can talk on the phone, answer questions, or have you come into the center and see what it's like.
Right, it's so interesting, David. Well, if you're interested in the Starter Brain Training Program, call or email. The address is on the screen. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. Thanks, Audrey.